Hey everybody, it's Doodle, and if I sound tired as shit or anything like that, is because I just made a 2-hour long live stream. You guys can probably hear the little kitty meowing in the background. Yes, kitty. Kitty. But anyways, here I'm back with another My Little Pony tier list video. This one's probably going to be on the shorter side because I'm very fucking tired. But, you know, I'm available to make it right now, so why not go ahead and just make it? I mean, what's the issue with it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, my friend. Mwahaha. So, I don't have much to say. You guys get the gist. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to just do this row, and then after will be the final row. Okay, so let's start with this. I don't know what the fuck you really call it, secret to my success. I think I'm gonna put this one in alright, and I'm going to explain why. Wow, Doodle, you didn't do a 10-minute intro. I did a 2-hour long live stream. And the reason why I'm not doing this later is because I want to go ahead and do this. I really wanted to make this. You want to say hey, kitty? You can probably hear purr, but she's trying to get my attention because I was busy with that live stream and she didn't really get my attention, so now she's trying to get it. Now I'm doing while I'm making this video. But yeah, secret to my success. The reason why it's alright is because, and I am going to go ahead and move this one down. Actually, I'll do it in my roundup recap. But the reason why this one is alright is just alright. There's not a lot to say about this episode. It's a Spike episode, and if you know about Spike episodes are either hit or miss. So the thing with this episode in particular is that okay, kitty, I'm sorry. The thing with this episode in particular is that I don't really feel like there's a lot going on in it. I mean, again, it's a Spike episode. Spike episodes are either hit or misses. But with this episode in particular, it's just kind of like, I don't know, again, not a lot happening. So Spike basically goes through puberty, is basically what happens. Yeah, he basically goes through this puberty shit. And then he struggles with all of it. And then after that, you know, it gets out of hand and he turns into a big, Spikezilla, basically. You know, so because of that, you know, it causes a lot of issues. And, you know, there's this part where they do a Godzilla reference with Rarity, and he captures Rarity. And it's just growth spurts with Spike. I think the idea is pretty cute. It's just overall just an alright episode of the series. You know. Oh, that is sweet. It don't have a lot going on for it. Neither is it boring. I wouldn't really say, like, usually when I rate these episodes, I usually say they're either boring, if they're alright, or either just, like, irritating. This one isn't really, I guess it is more on the boring side if I had to choose between. It's not really irritating though, it's just an alright episode. It's not bad by no means, but it's definitely not the best. So, it gets alright because of that ranking. This one isn't even a question. Alright, this is one of the best episodes in the whole series. I don't know. I'll leave it there for right now. So this episode is great. I mean, I have it in S tier, so you probably would naturally want to know why I think it's so great. If you guys haven't been paying attention, you guys should know that I am absolutely crazy over lore episodes of any series, really. Especially if it's done good like this one does. This one does it perfectly. It does it great. I think the, I just think how it's done in general is just amazing. So basically, it's the story about just the overall lore of Equestrian, the backstory, and they actually elaborate on it until like the final episodes of Generation 4. So you know it's that important to the series. So, you know, not only that, it has a good setup, it has a build up at the start of the episode. So, like, the girls are in the train and they're going to go do the show. That was a really good build up. And, you know, after that, they do the show. And on top of that, the jokes are great. The whole episode is written well. They didn't even really have to try. This would be a good episode regardless, just because of the lore alone. But it's cute. The jokes are cute. It's just, it has that My Little Pony feel to it that makes My Little Pony so good. It's cute, it's funny, it's heartwarming, it's charming, it's nostalgic, it covers the lore. The character designs of the lore characters, like, you know, General Cookie or Pudding or whatever the fuck their name was. You know, the character designs the girls have to wear is great. I think Derpy's in it. And it's a Christmas themed episode, and usually, like, if you get a holiday episode, the any series, usually they tend to be a little better than the actual episode. So just overall, just a beautiful episode. It's going to stay right here for now, but in my roundup recap, it's probably going to be above Lunar Eclipse. It's not my favorite episode within all of season 2, but it's close. This is probably the only one in this whole, hold on, how many did I do? I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, okay. Well, hold on, let me count real quick. Fuck, what did I stop on? What am I supposed to stop on? I done even forgot. Hold on, guys, I'm gonna check really quick. Like at the speed of light quick. Speed of light quick. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go. Here we go, guys. What the hell? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 9. Oh. You guys can just skip if it's like too irritating. Trying to figure out what episode. Okay, hold on. Okay, we can. Yeah, we'll stop at this episode, guys. I was just checking real quick. So yeah, this episode, it's just a really good episode, you guys. There's not much I have to say about it. It's just fucking good. Just shit. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Next we have this, oh, I already talked, I'm getting confused, sorry guys. This episode right here, I didn't even talk about it. This episode right here is just, it's just really boring. You know, when I talk about the series, I either talk about something that's really irritating or really boring. This is just unbelievably boring. Usually the irritating ones, if they're funny, like example, Look Before You Sleep or Fall with Their Friends, if they're fun, like those episodes are fun. They're irritating, but they're also fun and have some clever jokes. You know, an episode like that will do better than a straight up boring episode. This episode right here is one of the most boring episodes of My Little Pony, in my opinion. It could change. I could rewatch it and change it. But nothing really happens in this episode. It's an Apple Bloom episode, and like I said, CMC episodes are either hit or miss. I mean, I guess it's kind of an Apple Family episode, and it has lore in it. And I know I just praised lore to death, I always do, but in this way, this whole episode could have been handled in another episode. You get what I mean? Like, this episode feels like if a tiny segment of My Little Pony was taken out and just you know, stretched for like 23 minutes. That's exactly what this episode feels like. This episode would have been better if it was more a CMC adventure focused episode and they just squeezed the whole lesson of this episode into that episode. But that's not what they did, and it's just really boring. I don't have nothing much to say about it, just because it's just nothing really happens. Like, sure, things are happening, but it's not nothing that's really that important to the series. And I know I said filler isn't bad, but if it comes to this, it's just really boring. It's not, I know I have it at worst of the worst. I don't know. I don't feel like it's definitely not the worst episode of the series. It's just boring. And it's definitely one of the early seasons lack episodes. I feel like these are one of those episodes those show writers just had in the scripts and they didn't have another idea, so they just made an episode out of that. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about it. Zap Apple episodes. Does anybody even remember what Zap Apples are? Or do they even like? It's not really that important of the episode. Now, you see, we have all these episodes here. We have S's, we have A's, we have B's, we have C's, we have D's, and we have an F, but we do not have a B. This is the first episode that is going in a B. I remember very vividly me watching this episode when I was a young girl. I don't know what it is, but out of all the seasons of My Little Pony, this is the one I remember watching the best and most vividly. I don't know why this particular episode, but it just is. So in this episode, it's basically, you know, and we don't really see much of the siblings in the show after this. We see them sometimes, but the show doesn't really pay attention to them. Like, I get it's Mrs. and Mr. Cake's babies, but you still think you would see them a little bit more, especially if they live at Sugar Cube Corner. I mean, you'd think you'd see them more, but I guess not. They didn't really pay much attention to them after that. But I think one's a unicorn and one's a Pegasus, and it's this cute thing, you know. It's weird because Mr. and Mrs. Cake are both Earth ponies, and they happen to have a Pegasus and a unicorn. Wow, isn't it so cute and funny that these two Earth ponies have a unicorn and alicorn, and they're doing wacky stuff like one can't stop doing magic and the other can't stop using her wings because it's quirky humor. I hope we don't copy the same exact episode later on. I hope we don't copy the same cough cough flurry heart. Anyways, but this is fine. This is early on, so you know it's not as annoying. Let's get with the only irritating stuff I have with this episode is that the babies are kind of annoying. They do the typical humor of, aha, the baby's doing funny things. It's funny. It's not really that funny, but like everything else about. Hold on, okay there. Everything about the episode is good, so I can tolerate it. Plus, it's So yeah, with the babies are kind of annoying, but I'd say the humor is written well. It's funny, it's well thought out, and just all that good jazz. It's good. It's definitely not one of the best episodes, but it's not bad either. This episode is definitely very close to a C, if I'd have to say. Not very close. Kind of like if I had to put it either on an A or a C, I'd definitely put it in a C. That's what makes it a B. I don't have much to say about this episode either. This is probably going to be a very short video, and I thought this was going to be my longest video because we're in the meat of season 2. So I thought I'd be saying a lot, but we can save it. All the important stuff I have to say we can save for the big project. So this is fine. I'm okay with this. But yeah, I don't have much to say about it. It's quirky. It's really quirky, but it's cute. That's all I have to say about it. Now this episode, Last Roundup, was fucking amazing. Let me put it. Definitely better than the Rarity episode, Sweet Elite or whatever. This is one of my favorite episodes in the whole series, which you might be wondering why the fuck is it in an A then? I don't think it's technically, it's close to an S. I don't think it is an S, but it's close. Okay. This is one of my favorite Applejack episodes too. I feel like this episode is really close to an S. It's just something that's holding it back. I just feel like it's kind of more down to earth, maybe, which a lot of Applejack episodes are. But yeah, I think that's the reason why. It's definitely not. This episode right here definitely aren't as good as these other episodes. Better than this episode, but we'll get to that later. But you know, so that's why it goes in A. You know, not as good as these episodes up here. Definitely an A. It's close to an S. But in this episode, I think this episode tackles a very important topic I feel like My Little Pony doesn't really tackle, and that is just Applejack's kind of like backstory and her emotions. A lot of the Applejack episodes, they more so tap into the fact that she's stubborn. Usually Applejack episodes are goal orientated, like, what should Applejack do? Never does barely any My Little Pony episode actually tackle Applejack's emotions. Now this is different, and that is why I heavily appreciate this episode. This episode takes a deep dive into Applejack's emotions and her insecurities. You wouldn't think Applejack would be so insecure, you know, she's kind of the more confident one out of the main six, and usually she doesn't struggle with stuff that are more quote-unquote petty, like insecurity and worrying about what others think of her. But, you know, in this episode it makes Applejack seem more human. Of course, like anybody, and this is an Applejack, this is everybody has some insecurities and wants to be the best. You know, this episode, it has the pinky promise in it, and it has the rodeo. The thing about the Applejack rodeo stuff, I really wish they would have covered that more within the series, and I know she works on the farm more, but I mean, like, you see Rarity doing her fashion stuff, and you see Rainbow Dash doing her, like, acrobatic stuff, so why couldn't we focus more on Applejack's rodeo stuff? There's barely any episodes about Applejack and her rodeo stuff. Barely any. And if they're in the new seasons, I don't watch the newer seasons. I feel like they were some, but like, they could have done more about that. I feel if they would have done a little bit more thinking. I feel like this show they could have done a lot more episodes, but they didn't have time, of course. But if they would have sat down and think, you could easily, like, if it might take some more thinking, but you can make each one of these seasons have like 30 episodes. But I get it, you don't have the time, you gotta keep going. But not only is this, I might move this to an S later now that I'm talking about it. Not only is that just the concept of the concept of the episode amazing. Not only that, it's also very funny, very well written, and I love the message. I especially love what Applejack and Pinkie Pie's going on, and I love how invested the girls are in what Applejack is doing. You'd think they wouldn't care that much. It's Applejack or rodeo stuff, who gives a shit? But they're actually very invested, and you don't see that a lot in cartoons, I feel like, just with a lot of stuff. Especially main characters who try and bow off of each other, so it's just really interesting to see the other girls support her. I think that's very interesting. And on top of that, like I said, it delves into her emotions for Applejack, and that's rare and that's great. Hey kitty. I think that's amazing, and I love Cherry Jubilee, that's her name, right? I love her. I love her character. She's amazing. That's her character for real. She's one of my favorite characters. Not main characters, but like side characters. So she's a great fucking character. But yeah, I mean, I love You Broke a Pinky Promise. I love everything. Just everything about the episode is fucking great, dude. I might move it to an S later. What is it? You ain't gonna purr in the mic. What, kitty? What do you want, kitty? Everything about the episode is amazing. Like, everything. I love everything about it. The jokes and everything are great. Let's move on. I think everybody loves this episode. I'm gonna move it right here. I'm gonna move it right over now. No. Super cider squeezy. 6,000. Sorry, my cat was wanting me to do something. Actually, I was just hugging my cat. I lied to you. This episode is fucking great. This is another Applejack episode. Guys, I think I'm gonna end it here. I'm getting so fucking tired. But the thing with this episode, it's great. It's amazing. I love Applejack in it in this one as well. I think it covers a very important message. I'm gonna split this into the two parts, guys. I'm getting really tired. I think I'm gonna end it here. It's okay if season 2 has like 5 parts. It deserves it. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna end it here. So we covered Super Solder Squeezy 6 sounds a little bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go now, you guys.